Well, hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabriel, coming at you straight from Queens, New York, and today we are going to be talking about The Breakfast Club. All right, and The Breakfast Club, in case you guys don't know, is it's like a program on 105.1 FM. It's a radio show hosted by DJ Envy, Angela Yee, and Charlemagne the God, and they post a bunch of videos online about, while they're on air on their radio show. And they have this skit called Donkey of the Day, where they pretty much just make fun of people, right? They browbeat people, they shame people, they call people out on whatever they think is some type of stupid action that people might have taken. And recently they done two Donkey of the Days that it just shows how in love with themselves they are. I mean, it's mostly hosted by Charlemagne, and I will say this: the Breakfast Club are bought and paid for 100% by the Democratic Party. They are one of the biggest race hustlers in American history, and they are racist. They are liars at the end of the day. And we're gonna look at one of their most recent Donkey of the Days. But I'm gonna preface this one with the previous Donkey of the Day, on where they called Tim Scott and Kamala Harris, right? They gave the Donkey of the Day award to those two officials because those two officials said that America is not racist. Now, the Breakfast Club believes America is racist. And for more than that, though, they need America to be racist. And so therefore, they will look at everything with the foregone conclusion that it is racist, right? They don't look at the facts, at the evidence, and then ask if it was racist or if it was just something else. No. They start with the premise that it is racist, and they fit all of the facts of whatever case they're looking at to prove to just back up their foregone conclusion. All right, so let's actually just listen to what they say here about the fire chief that said that police should stop responding in black or minority neighborhoods.
Oh, the mayonnaise is heavy on this one. I really said to myself,
So this is Charlemagne the God speaking, and already you can hear him. The way that he speaks is just it's race heavy. This guy is this is a man who is completely and utterly delusional and just brainwashed. He is heavy in the cult of racism. This man believes racism is a god. All right, this man believes racism is in everybody at every level of every single everything. Right, there is nothing in this man's opinion that is not completely tainted by racism, even his own language. So already he says the mayonnaise is heavy in this one, right? So mayonnaise is just a derogatory term that they use when referring to anything that has to do with the white people.
Attempt to do Donkey of the Day this week and not talk about race once. I mean, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott and our Vice President Kamala Harris said America is not a racist country, so I figured it would be pretty easy.
Right, so he's referring to the last Donkey of the Day that they did, where those two elected officials said that it's not a racist country. So then he's still hung up on that, right? Because we have black people going against his narrative, right? He's a black man, and if somebody challenges his narrative, right, he just needs to make fun of them. He needs to disprove them, even though the evidence is actually against him.
To do that, right? I mean, since our black elected officials say America is not a racist country, then I must be reaching every day looking for stories of white folks being racist, because according to Senator Scott and Madam VP Harris, America is not a racist country, right? Well, guess what? Just because you believe you can fly doesn't mean you can. Okay, I don't care.
The level of arrogance just in his voice. This guy is a person who doesn't believe He believes he knows everything that needs to be known about racism in America. So therefore, if you disagree, you are automatically wrong and evil and racist, right? That's his point of view. And which is something that Angela Yee and DJ Envy share. Again, their whole crew is bought and paid for by the Democratic establishment, by the Democratic plantation. These are modern day slaves, right? These are the guys who are out here going after the free thinking minority groups and trying to whip them back onto the plantation because their master is good for them, right? So let's continue.
Who says America is not a racist country? I don't care what position they're in. I don't care how much money they have. It's just a white devil damn lie. Okay, I think
so right there, I mean, white devil damn lie. You know, like, this is how this guy thinks. This is how they think. It's everything. Everything is just white. Everything is just in their head, right? These are the biggest Oreos on the planet, right? they just everything has to do with the white man, right? There is no decision that this team take that does not involve a white, how black people are affected by white people. Right, that's their entire prism. Let's continue.
That by repeating this lie over and over, they are trying to create what is known as the illusion of truth effect. You know, that whole repeat a lie often enough and it becomes the truth. No,
and right now he's projecting, because this is what they do. Right, they are consistently repeating the whole racism thing. The whole racism is, to them, racism is like the Force in Star Wars, right? To them, racism is this living thing that penetrates everybody. Like, you can't escape racism in the United States, right? So it's literally the Force. It's like a living God to them, right? So right now he's saying that people on the right or anybody that disagrees with him, pretty much. Anybody that disagrees with him is just perpetuating a lie that America isn't racist, even though he and his crew have been repeating the whole America is racist thing over and over again, even in cases that have nothing to do with race. Right? These are people that have been held to task, that have been proven to be wrong about race-related issues, and still perpetuate the whole racism in America is the biggest threat to black America.
The law of propaganda that came from a Nazi. So don't let anyone keep peeing on your head and telling you it's Mike's Hard Lemonade, because it's not. Okay, this is a racist country. Always have.
I can't make this shit up, man.
Has been, and unless we make some radical systemic.
It always has been, and unless we make some radical systemic changes, right? Okay, always has been. Oh, it's always been racist, huh? It's always been racist. See, this is a guy that is just indoctrinated. He is in love with his own ideas. He is possessed by his own ideology. They don't care about black people, guys. I'm sorry, but they don't. These are the biggest race hustlers, the biggest liars, and the biggest BSers on the planet right now. And they're bought and paid for by the Democratic Party. If you go back to the election cycle, right, the presidential election, right, they didn't have any Republican or right-leaning representation on the show. It was just straight Democratic and left-leaning propaganda. That's all the Breakfast Club was throughout the entire election. They didn't even talk about anything that the Republicans or that the right was doing. It was just straight, look at how good the Democrats are. Look at how good the Democrats are. Look at how good the Democrats are. Oh my gosh. And I mean, right now he's admitting he is a radical, right? He is calling for radical change. Let's continue. Let's hear him say the exact thing that people claim, that it's like, oh no, they're not radical. They're not, the mainstream left is they just want common sense stuff. They're not radical. Let's listen to one of the biggest cultural leaders, the Breakfast Club, in black and minority communities. Let's listen to what they have to say, what they think.
Big changes always will be. See, I'm not a delusional person who thinks they can change the hearts of people. No, not at all. I would rather focus on, racist legislation, racist systems, holding people accountable for their racism, professionally and personally, civil and criminal. I want to
professionally, personally, civic, everything, right? And it's all the only problem in this man's head is racism. right? Racism is the #1 issue in this man's head. This is how delusional his guy is. This is how delusional the Breakfast Club are. They're just complete blind. They're just horses with blinders on. They see nothing but racism. And it's a shame because they have such a big reach and they're doing such a huge disservice to the black and minority communities all across the country, especially in big cities because they're very popular in the city. I live in New York. They're very popular.
Weed out racism and bigotry at its root, because that's what America, spelled with 3 Ks, was founded on. And that's what we need to get rid of.
America spelled with 3 Ks. You can't make this shit up, guys. You cannot make it up. This is what the leaders in our black and minority communities are this is the shit that's coming out of their mouths. They are holding us back. They're holding us back with this ridiculous rhetoric, right? Because the country is so freaking racist. If America, right? America, KKK, right? How the hell do you have a show that is killing it? The most popular show in New York, bro. Look at yourself, my man. Look at yourself. You're killing the game, and you're here complaining about racism as if racism is strong enough to stop you. It ain't strong enough to stop you. It ain't strong enough to stop me. It ain't strong enough to stop anybody in the country. Yet you here complaining about it like it's some type of threat to you.
Case in point, Francis Butch Gint. Now remember I told you he's a volunteer fire chief. Well, he resigned recently. Why did he resign? Because of a post he put on Facebook. I do not know why racists who hold corporate jobs, who are elected officials, think they are only sending these messages to their closest friends. We all can see you. And in this case, Francis Gint had a message for the police. Let's go to WBTV CBS 3 for the report, please.
All right, so there they go on ahead. That's what I'm going to show up the video. I mean, it's only like a 5-minute video, but we're already 2 minutes in. We're not going to, the main point of their video is to go on ahead and shame the chief that he was talking about, because the chief said that maybe cops should not respond to to calls in black neighborhoods. You know, and then this guy says, oh, that's racist. That means he wants black people to die. When this guy, right, alongside LeBron and BLM and all the others, right, when that cop that shot Ma'Khia Bryant shot her, right, what was this guy, the Breakfast Club, and a bunch of other activists doing? What were they doing? Right, they were saying "you're next" to the guy that shot her. What that? Right, they wanted the cop that shot her to go to jail. Right, when they were saying "you're next," they were referencing Chauvin, the Chauvin trial, because apparently, if you kill a person who is trying to murder another person, as a cop should, right? Because in that situation, if you don't take lethal action, that person, the assaulter, is going to kill the other person, right? Apparently, if that person happens to be black and you happen to be a white cop, you should go to jail for that. This is what they're calling for, right? But is he going to mention all of that? Of course not, because he doesn't care. He doesn't care that a black girl's life was saved. He would have rather that another black person kill another black person that day. That's what he would have rather happened. He would have rather happened that more black people sell and keep selling drugs to other black people and having those black people OD and die from overdosing. That's what he would rather happen, right? Because if you have any type of policing, it's racist. This is the guy that is calling for radical deconstruction of the American system, because in his eye, from his perspective, it has been racist from its inception. So he is completely just ignoring not only his own success, but he is ignoring the success of every single black entrepreneur in the nation. He is ignoring the progress that civil rights leaders of the past, like Malcolm X and like Martin Luther King, made for the black community. He is saying that those people didn't do anything. This is his mentality. Right? What was the document that Martin Luther King Jr. quoted the most in all of his speeches? Which document was that? The Constitution. The Constitution. That's what MLK quoted the most. Why? Why would a black man trying to fight for civil rights and civil liberties be quoting one of the founding documents of this country? If it is true that this country is fundamentally racist, well then that means, guess what? That means that the founding documents must also be racist. So then how can a black man use those exact documents to fight against racism? You stupid mother. Charlemagne, you are a detriment. You are a detriment to the black community. You are a detriment. The Breakfast Club should be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed of themselves for pushing this continuous narrative that black people are less than. Pushing this continuous narrative that somehow some all holy, all powerful, all seeing white man is out here and is able to stop you from succeeding if you have the wrong skin color. If you have a darker skin tone than the white man, then the white man somehow has power over you. No, that is false. That is wrong. Look at you. You are the example that is wrong. You wouldn't have that successful show if that were true. The NBA wouldn't be mostly black if that were true. The NFL wouldn't be mostly black if that were true. These people would be kept down. They would not be allowed to make these salaries. They would not be allowed to have these cultural influences. They would not be allowed to be leaders. They wouldn't be allowed to be lawyers. They wouldn't be allowed to be judges. They wouldn't be allowed to be presidents and vice presidents and congresswomen and congressmen. They wouldn't be allowed if this country was really racist. What reality do you live in? You are a detriment to the community. Stop it. And you're acting like you have the moral high ground when you're doing nothing but hurting us. You're hurting us. You're keeping us back. The Breakfast Club should be ashamed of themselves. Ashamed. And you need to look in the mirror real hard and ask yourself, why do you insist on keeping other black people down? You made it. You're successful. Why do you feel the need to close the door behind you? Why do you keep telling people that are still struggling that no matter what they do, they're living in a racist system, so therefore they will always fail? Why instead don't you share what you did to not be part of the hood? Huh? Why don't you share your story of how you got out of that life? Why don't you share your story on how to be successful, on how to make something out yourself, instead of perpetuating the same bullshit that has kept our community down for decades? The worst places in the country for Latino and black people have been ran by Democrats for decades. 50, 40, 60 years. Democrats. And we ain't seen no progress. But no. Democrats are helping us, right? You here licking the boot of these Democrats, having them on your show left, right, and center. But they're the good guys. The fact of the matter is that no politician is going to get you out of the gutter. That's up to you. There is no system, there is no structure, there is no power dynamic alive and functioning in the United States that is capable of keeping you down, especially if you're a minority group. There is nothing that you cannot plan for and overcome on your path to success? Nothing. Nothing. Even if you come into contact with an actual racist, even if you meet the goddamn wizard of the KKK, he does not have enough power to stop you. Nobody does. The KKK hasn't been a threat to anybody because they are weak, because their ideology is weak, because racism is weak. It's for losers. The KKK, BLM is for losers. Losers that believe that race is the most important characteristics that you have. Loser mentality will make you a loser. And for those of you that have attained success and have that mentality, you need to stop lying to your fellow brothers and sisters. Because your lived reality contradicts the theories and messages that you speak. But no. What do I know? I mean, I'm just a freaking immigrant that lives in New York all his life. That's what I'm going to say on this one, man. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.